Good morning. We are about to start. May I request that your phones be on low volume? If you cannot, off it, please. Good morning. My name is Aduduzile Grace Mbajog. They call me Madam Speaker. I'm not sure whether it's a compliment because I talk too much. Yeah. So, welcome to this event. This is one of those events, they would say August event, one of those surreal moments. Don't mind me. I forgot my notes, so I'm making words as I go along. Yeah, so today we are here to celebrate. I'm so excited because I knew Mrs AT Thoka. I was a student. Don't ask when, so that you don't calculate my age. I'm older than most of you. So, yeah. So today we are here to celebrate this wonderful woman. I don't know, those who have met her, they'll know what I'm talking about. And I'm so pleased that the School of Law has made her to be the first to be honored for this ceremony. This is one of those special ceremonies that, when you go to, you are celebrating someone who had a meaningful impact on our lives. I knew Mrs AT Thoka as a student, as a colleague, and as a head of department. So it's one of those moments. So I'm not going to waste much of your time. I'm going to ask Mr. Mkudu, please you give him a hand of applause, so that I actually sum up as he comes up. Mr. Mkudu for the opening and welcome. Please give him a hand of applause.
Good morning. Every time I'm called upon to come and speak in public like this, I get worried. Not so much about what I'm going to say. I'm worried about my height, whether I speak from behind the podium, will I be visible, or should I speak from the side of the podium? But I'm happy now, everybody can be able to see me, not so. All right. Let me start by acknowledging the presence of the Thoka family. They are indeed our guests of honor today. Secondly, acknowledge the presence of the acting director of our school. Acknowledge the HODs present today, colleagues present, and everybody who made a choice to honor us today with their presence. I would like to say good morning and welcome to all of you. Today indeed marks a very great day, a very great event. As the program director said earlier on, today we're making history. Today the School of Law is making history. History in a sense that it is one event that is so unique, in a sense that is the first of its kind, having been turned from a dream. It started as a dream. It was molded nicely into an idea and a concept. Over time, it took shape to where it is today. And with that, I would like to acknowledge and appreciate those behind the success of this event today. The acting director, with your school exco, the entire school board, we say well done to a job greatly done. This is indeed a great achievement. We say we're creating history today in a sense that in the past, we have never had occasions where our own people were honored in the same way we are going to honor our people today. We are going to launch today and celebrate the School of Law Hall of Honor And what that means is, there are going to be a number of people that are going to be recognized, that are going to be inducted into this Hall of Honor. We launched this event today also to try and inspire those of us who are still in active service. Of course, some of us are still in active service. This should serve as an inspiration to aspire to earn our space in the Hall of Honor. We're going to witness today again, as we launch this great event, the induction of the first inductee into the School of Law Hall of Honor. I'm not going to say much about that part. I think somebody else is going to speak on that. But my role is to tell you about the purpose of the event today. And I must say, I'm quite excited, profoundly excited, to be part of this auspicious event. I'm excited to be part of history making in the School of Law. I'm quite excited to be standing here and honoring one of our own. Madam Speaker, you said this already, Ms. Thoka. All of us, I was just talking to a colleague earlier on, we were reminiscing about the past old days. That I'm one of her products. Today I can stand here profoundly and confidently and say I am a successful lawyer because of her. We can't shy away. We are successful lawyers today. And we are making strides because of people like Ms. Thoka. The contribution they made to make us into who we are today. Where we are very grateful for their contribution, not only personally, but to all those whose lives she has touched as well. Of course, you will see from the program, she served the university for a period of 30 years. 3 decades indeed, it's not a child's play. Some of us are still toddlers as far as that is concerned. So we hope and pray that we'll get to where she ended up at, and hopefully be inducted in the same way that she's going to be inducted today. Madam Speaker, I just want to say lastly, everyone is welcome. You're welcome to celebrate this great event with us today. Stay with us until the end of the ceremony and enjoy the festivities with us. And I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mkudu. Without further ado, I'm going to call upon Advocate MT Rapatsa. Sifuna ukwazi, why are we here today? So you must come and explain. Please don't use that your English, the one I don't like. We need the simple one. The one I used to teach, English 101. Thank you. Welcome, Advocate Rapatsa.
Mazimai nevarume. Yeah, kiti toridal tabol. I'm told it means, ladies and gentlemen. Mangwanani vanu. Good morning. Machironi, Avusheni, Dumelang, Koemore, Sanwonani, Wuchile. Yeah. What a day. I was told that one of the best phrases to borrow in times like this would be to say nasi tiri vanufara, which means today we are very happy. pardon me if I robbed some corners. I mean, those that speak Shona. But I'm not a saint. I'm one man who keep on trying. Ladies and gentlemen, I acknowledge the presence of all of you, the Thoka family, my esteemed colleagues, the marketing and communications division of the University of Limpopo, the executive management of the university, of course, for allowing us to do this. I'm going to be very brief, because what I've learned is that often when you are brief, straight to the point, people are able to have something to take home. I'll relate the significance of this occasion with the history and heritage of the University of Limpopo School of Law, which by now I guess everyone is quite familiar with. We all know where we come from. If you look out there, in every sector of the society, it could be in the public sector, it could be in the private sector, it could be in the NGO, you would always find a footprint of the University of Limpopo School of Law. And you also see that in the judiciary. You see that in practice, the advocates, the attorneys that you see. And correctly so, we are in charge of the profession, if you did not know. It's just that, of course, sometimes our graduates get ostracized and with no one defending them. A typical example here is Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane. She's our graduate, and she has been ostracized so many times. Well, I know we would have our own varied opinions around it. But anyway, the point is, she is also our alumnus. And you would have the likes of Judge Dunstan Mlambo, he's the judge president in North Gauteng, and then you would have Judge Lohodi, he's in Mpumalanga. You would have Judge Mtanta, Constitutional Court. There are many. And the list is quite endless. But all these stalwarts would not have succeeded if it were not for people like Mrs AT Thoka. And that's why, as a school at one point, of course, it started very slowly as an idea. And in time, we thought, let us practicalize it now. And what is the essence of that? The idea is, we want to say to everybody, we know ourselves, we know where we come from, we know what we have done for this country through our graduates. And therefore, because we realize that there can never be anything about us without us, no one is going to recognize our own. Therefore, we've got to do it ourselves. And that's why we are live. As far as I'm concerned, we are live on YouTube as we speak now. So therefore, this is a national occasion, if you like. So we've decided that it would be befitting for us to inaugurate this beautiful idea with Mrs AT Thoka, because it is wholly deserved. And in our view, this represents some occasion of both historical and contemporary significance. And we believe that through an exercise such as this one, everybody would be able to embrace the idea as that which is wholly predicated around spread of love, peace and harmony, and of course, togetherness among all of us. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, it is generally our great honor, ladies and gentlemen, as we present to you the inaugural Hall of Honor of the School of Law at the University of Limpopo. And we hereby induct Ms. Alvina Thoka into it, and her name is going to be engraved somewhere in the corners of the university, and of course many others that would follow thereafter. Madam Speaker, let me hand back the reins to you, and with these few words we want to say Pambiri na Miss AT Thoka Pambiri. Pambiri na Miss AT Thoka Pambiri. Tatenda strek. By the way, it's okay you have clapped, but I was reminded of something. You see, when I came here, I had to take off my scarf. This is what kept me safe from COVID. But then somebody was just saying to me, look, yes, Minister Partha may have said that it seems we can afford to drop the mask, but Mr. Mukuru said something legalistic now. He said, look, it's your choice. You decide. All right, thanks.
Thank you, Advocate Rapatsa, for that. I'm going to, before I call one of our father figures in the School of Law, Advocate Arlie Kubariki from Model C schools, like it's whatever. I went to a township school, so really so that you can hear it. So before I call Advocate Lijeku, I want to say a few words. First of all, for those, I'm sure he's going to tell us more about Thoka. Those of you who never met Thoka, you actually missed out. No, she was one of those. I told you I brought posh English today from my township school. She was one of those, how do I put it? Infectious personalities. She was a kind of person who was, she was soft-spoken, elegant, modest. I don't know how I put it, but modest, yes. She was a modest individual, always carrying herself with poise, That is my English, I told you. Always carrying herself with poise, and she was one of those lecturers that if you are a student, you lost your pen or probably didn't have it at all, you'd go to her office and knock, and you'll know Miss Thoka will assist you. Unlike some, you are gullible. You thought I was going to say someone's name. Unlike some of us. Before you knock, you say a little prayer in 11 official languages. Because you are not sure whether the answer is going to be a positive one or a negative one. But Ms. Thoka to me was a definition of what? Of modesty. One of those mother figures that I think all of us, especially the female staff members, we should aspire to be. She was someone, she was not only your mentor, your lecturer, but she had that motherly love. And I know it because she came to my wedding. So, yeah, the kind, you can see the relationship. I was a student, but she came to my wedding. It was that relationship. So, with these words, I say, let us all be Thokas. Amen. I even said amen so that you understand better. Yes, Advocate Lijeku, one of our father figures. Today I'm the boss of you, so don't waste time. You are welcome, say.
Thank you, Chair. I'm likely or prone to the disease. That's why even when I'm here, they want me here, I put on this to show them that I'm taking care of myself. Madam Chair, you said all what I wanted to say. I don't know what you expect me to say now. But let me thank okay, let me start here. When I relinquished my reins of the directorship, which is unusual for black people, people were shocked. How can you leave power? Power! You must be a buffoon. You see, if you are a leader, you get to a point where you feel sitting in that chair that swings. My chair is no longer swings because it's a stable one. The swinging one is for the executives. When you are sitting in that chair of the executive ship, swinging, you start to feel that, am I still really making a contribution or a meaning contribution to this organization? Then you will feel yourself that, no, let me move out of this chair. Let the new brains come in to do the job. But unfortunately, with the mission surrounding us, we had an upheaval road for some time. And thanks to the new brooms that is leading the school at the moment, Rabaza, keep it up, but I'll keep on knocking at your door to tell you where you are faulting. Your management team, and by the way, I have a wonderful HOD there. I gave him my solid department. He's still trying to keep it intact. Ma'am Talk. You know, I don't remember that she knew my first name. And by the way, I was calling her by her first name. And she never called me by first name. Yeah, I am calling my teacher by first name. She would say, Lijegu, Manageshu. And even when she realized I'm in trouble with some management issues, she will come and knock at the door and say, I'm just coming to check on you. This resembles what Madam Chair has just alluded to us. The mother figure. I don't think there is any door that she might not have knocked, or a neighbors in the corridors to greet. How many times have you knocked at your next door neighbor or a colleague door to ask how is he or is she doing? You are behaving like UNISA these days. You lack that collegial spirit. No, every time, there is a first door that I always knock every time I'm here. I don't know how many times I knock it in a day. I might be irritating that person. Mr. Nkun. I realize that I don't get to my office before I knock at his door. Are we doing that? Do you really care how's your colleague next to your office? And there she was, doing all those things. My office is downstairs, she was upstairs. She will move up there to come and check me if I'm not dead by management problems. See, 30 years is indicated on this program. And 30 years of service is not a child's play. You toiled. Some of us can't even work for 2 years. But if you go into a HR file, Mr. Director, I don't think you will find any disciplinary documents in a file. You would not find any warning in a file. Whereas most of us, within 6 months of employment, you already have 3 warnings. The last one is for showing you the door frame. And you can see how dedicated Alvina was. Loyal, humility. I already said that, Madam Speaker. Did I come to your wedding? No. No, I did. And I remember Ma'am Alvina was there. In fact, you must keep on, in fact, you're owing me. You need to keep on paying your debts, because I changed the attitude of your in-laws on how I spoke about you. They were doubtful in the beginning. And after my talk, they started, wow, wow. An academic and intellectual, the two are separate, but I don't know how. I can ask some of my professors here whether they are the same or different, but I believe they are different. because you can be an academic but not being an intellectual, or you can be an intellectual but not being an academic. Where is Lerado? Oh, you have grown into a beautiful woman. I knew her before she could even come here. But let me park that one. Mrs Thoka, she was both academic and intellectual in her humility way. She would not walk around boasting. You know, by then, to be an LLB holder, it was beyond this imagination. Adrian, you remember we had to have 3 languages, and you had an advantage of Afrikaans. And I had to learn Afrikaans, English, Latin, all of them foreign to me. The only advantage was Slovedu. She did go through those. It wasn't easy. And by the way, she was before me. I came after, because she taught me. Then you can imagine if I got it so difficult in my time. And by the way, during my time, we were only 7 doing LLB in the entire institution. And she did that before. I don't know how many were there in her time. And she proceeded to be the first woman in Transvaal. Did you know that she was the first woman attorney in Transvaal? So we were blessed to have a woman of that caliber at that stage, at that level. Madam Speaker, what are you in first? She broke the monopoly and monotony of the profession. So she paved way for most of us. Mr. Director, you know, when I was doing my LLB, how many advocates were there, black advocates in South Africa? 20. So I just want to show you the stringent regulation that this profession had in those days. I am very happy that the school, more especially your team, conceptualized this project, and I'm also happy and pleased that the university executive allowed it. But I believe those that I know are always stumbling blocks were not part of that. What I would say to the team is keep the hope alive for generations to come. Because I always had a worry why we don't see our own on the walls. I stopped going to A block because there's only one monotonous photo on the wall. Which floor is that one? Third floor? Director, third floor. Yeah. So what we have done should also invoke some action in the executive to start doing the same and remove some of those which are there. Madam Speaker, let me finalize by saying thank you, Mrs Thoka. I know you are young. She didn't need your permission to work here, but really leboga elile la khotelela o selle kudu le sa le bana lerato ya ba maka di script a bo ka no kry-a o ile wa raloka godimo script sa ka ka kwa e re le leboga e le ile la kgona gore fa ena this institution ya mošomiša. When I started, I think she was the only woman lecturer in the then faculty. So you can see, you see how many first did I indicate to you? And she was working with old shrinking white lecturers. You remember Van der Evers, the Van Mentelo came at a later stage. But she has been there. Thanks to her, through you, that she managed to charter our ways. I wouldn't be even speaking in front of you if it wasn't of her. And thank you, school leadership. Thank you, program director. Thank you.
Thank you to our fatherly figure in the school, Advocate Licheku. Please, let's give him another warm hand of applause. You know, I was secretly hoping he'll exceed the time, so I'll tell him to sit down. You know, it's not every day you tell your father to sit down. So this was my opportunity, but it dololo, hey, you know. Yeah, now I'm going to call upon Prof. Rapulana for words by the department. Please, let's welcome him to the podium.
You know, when the elders coined the phrase that Gilagalewi, they wanted to avoid the youngsters to speak after the elders. Because once the elders have spoken, what more can you say? But let me greet you, colleagues, our esteemed guests, including members of the Thoka family. And just thought, in our African way of living, that those who have departed the earth, they still keep watch on us. It is in this regard that I extend my heavenly greetings to the late Thoka, and hoping and believing that her spirit is in our midst. It is indeed a privilege to be part of this gathering or congregation gathered in this hall to acknowledge her unblemished career and dedication to the School of Law in the university. Let me hasten to add that there are many people, both inside and outside the university, that have worked and spent time with late Thoka and have better stories to tell. But for convenience, I'm standing on their behalf and even on behalf of the Department of Jurisprudence, Legal Pluralism, Criminal Law and Procedure, where she has worked, just to come here to extend our appreciation of her contribution to the department. Remember, she worked as a lecturer until to the position of the head of department. That time it was still the department, if I'm not mistaken, of criminal and civil procedure. That was before it was merged. Now, hers was not just about a career, but a calling to uplift the standard of education in criminal practice. Amongst the generation of students that she has taught, she was a living encyclopedia of the principles of criminal law and its specific offenses. She introduced to the many of us, those who attended her classes, one of the authoritative sources of the criminal law, C.R. Snyman, whose writings to this day are still being followed by the legal practitioners. Many students, those who studied here, if you ask them, what do you remember about Ms. Thoka, they are likely to cite C.R. Snyman. So I believe for that, C.R. Snyman owes the Thoka family because he managed to publicize his work. She understood the challenges facing the students at that time regarding access to education, and she made it her priority that no student is left behind. So when that phrase was coined in recent years, that no student was left behind, we know it a long time ago, during the time of Ms. Thoka. She understood that we have a financial challenges regarding access to resources, but she will make sure that there is a material for the students at the library to access, to read, to use. She led by example. In her days, she never missed or postponed a class, because she knows that it was the only readily available source of guidance to the many of her students. And she knows that if you do so, oh, thank you. So indeed, as the program director has mentioned, she was a caring mother to her students. We could find comfort in her. Whenever we are frustrated, we know that we could run to her office. She will lend an ear to us. As mentioned, I say I'm only here to express our appreciation to the family for having given the department, the School of Law, the university, the permission to induct Ms. Thoka in our inaugural Hall of Honor. To my colleagues, the bestowing of the Hall of Honor to the late Thoka should be the beginning and not the end of enriching her legacy. There are many good untold stories and contributions that she has made. So it is our role and responsibility to go and mine and extravate those stories for the future education of our students. The future generations that are still to come to study at this institution, they deserve to know that the history of the School of Law is incomplete if the likes of the late Thoka and others are not mentioned. She is part of the foundations and the ideal model for the teaching of law to the historically disadvantaged institutions. No amount of words can be sufficient to describe or to outline her legacy. And to this point, Madam Speaker, I would like to pause here. The elders have spoken, and I know that there are a lot of things good things that Advocate Jegu did not have time to tell us. I wish you could have spoken for 2 hours so that we cover all the stories. So thank you again. Extend our appreciation to the Thoka family for blessing this occasion. And I will then hand over to the program director again.
Thank you, Prof. Rapulana. Thank you very much for those kind words. Advocate, I think you should come forth. And Advocate Licheku, please humbly, now I'm not the boss of you, I'm begging you. Kindly come forth. Okay, may we please have 2 representatives of the Thoka family so that we can hand over our little gift to them.
you can leave today.
Yeah, they can be,
All right.
they can be in between.
In between.
This one is for display, ne?
Okay.
You take the one yellow and red. This one is for photos now.
We don't show you first. There we go. You can do that.
Which camera are we looking at?
All of them, all of them, all of them.
Just smile.
Then so long. Response by family. Yes.
Yeah.
Bring that one here again. This one. This one is the same. This one must be the same.
That one
And I hand this one over
this
there.
one is for us. We want to keep some.
Oh, that's for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Then over to yeah.
So you can go back, sit down, stay there.
Maybe we
In which?
correspond.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we're gonna sit down.
Yeah, it's okay. And then you listen to her.
Okay.
Yeah, you can occupy the seat. Maybe somebody can left first.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much for that great gesture from the School of Law. And now we are going to call upon, I nearly said Lickly Miss Talk, for one of the family representatives, Lirato, to come and just share a few words. Thank you.
Good morning. Dumelang, Tobela, Goeiedag. Afsheni, Dimachedoni. I'm trying to cover all the official languages. It's an absolute honor and privilege for me to be standing here before you all this morning. And before I get into my emotional speech, I'm going to break academic protocol and just ask that we start Kasefela. If you don't mind joining me as we stand and just sing a song that I'm going to lead, and then I will be able to have the confidence to speak. So, Mateki, can I ask you to help me? Ria ulebuha, ria ulebuha, ria ulebuha, modimo warona, ria ulebuha, ria ulebuha, ria ulebuha, modimo warona, ahoya tswana liwena, ahoya tswana, ahoya tswana liwena, modimo warona, tswana liwena, ahoya tswana liwena, ahoya tswana liwena, modimo warona. Thank you. Todo udirami, todo udirami, todo modimo warona. Thank you. Hallelujah. Thank you so, so much. I'm trying to locate my one other daughter, but is she in the room? Oh. Thank you so, so much for the privilege of this. I don't even have the words. I don't even have the words to describe just the significance of this moment. It is an absolute honor and absolute privilege for us as a family to be receiving, this honor on her behalf. And so before I get into my response from the family, I really would like to say that I'm not standing here on my own, and I really would like to acknowledge the grace of God over the past couple of years since we lost Mama. It was obviously not an easy time just before COVID. It was a devastating loss. It was a devastating loss. And, but by the grace of God, He has kept us. He has kept us until this far. So I really want to acknowledge God for having kept us until this far, that we have not lost our sanity, but instead we have gained strength. I also would like to acknowledge the School of Law, the University of Limpopo, and every single person who has been involved in making this possible today. Mr. Rapatsa, EXCO, and every single person who has participated actively in making today a success. We do not take your sacrifice lightly. The professors, the lecturers, fellow ex-colleagues of Mrs. Thoka, staff members, I remember she just used to be engaging everybody at every level. So every single person that is here and that she was able to impact, we want to say thank you. And in terms of family, like I said, I'm not here on my own, and I'm here with many, many members of our family, and I'd like to acknowledge each one of you. I'm here with my husband and our 2 little girls, my aunt, who is Mama's sister, and my uncle, who stepped out. Manimpati, Malumtole, thank you so, so much for walking the journey with us. My in-laws, my in-loves, they're up there with us today. Here with one of our mentors, Brenda, my sisters, beautiful sisters, nephews, nieces, Julia, my wonderful father up there, who stepped in as well. Every member of our family that has come, thank you so much. We are because you are, so thank you. We also have Malum Oma, he's also just stepped out, but yes, I just want to acknowledge every single member of our family who has made efforts to be here today. So now that I have honored all protocol, I really would like to just dive into our response as a family. I'll start with my journey here. Advocate Licheku mentioned because as far as I can remember, I was always following my mother around because I was the youngest of the 3 girls. So literally when she was in lecture halls, I would be there scribbling on scripts, well, not people's scripts, but on university paper, and I would literally follow her around. And I realized that, I became a lawyer before I became a lawyer, because I lived this thing even at a very, very young age. So my journey started when I was young. 6-year-old following my mother around, who was already a very active part of the university. And I actually had an unconventional journey. As I went to high school in Johannesburg, and then I came back for university, Motefu, which was very a lot of my friends were like, why aren't you going to Vids or anything, or UCT, etc. I really felt that I wanted to study here, and I'm so grateful I did. Because my journey here at University of Limpopo was, it was so significant. My life changed so drastically on this campus in a good way. So I obviously studied law, and I recall quite distinctly when I was going to start my degree in the year where Mama was supposed to teach me. she was like, no, let me excuse myself. I think she was lecturing law of evidence in that year. She said, I cannot, I cannot teach you because you're my child. So, you know, and that's just integrity. I mean, at the time I was like, you know, I'm your daughter, so what? Like, if I fail, I fail, you know? But she really felt it was important for her to, you know, to excuse herself from lecturing that particular class because I was in it. And yeah, so University of Limpopo really has been amazing training ground for me personally and professionally, actually. It is here where I learned how to speak publicly. I was part of the debate society and was located by the brightest young minds, top 100 black law students, all sorts of amazing initiatives started here on this very ground. I was also Miss Limpopo while I was a student here, and I also gave my life to Jesus on this very campus because of the campus ministries that are here. So I'm sharing that to say I want to commend the lecturers, the staff members, for the incredible work that you are doing and the amazing graduates that you are producing who are trailblazing out in the marketplace. And in terms of Mama, you know, having walked the journey with her as her daughters, I think we can all confidently say that as our mother, we had no option but to learn what integrity is. We had no option but to learn what resilience is because she demonstrated these qualities every single day. She was diligent, she was excellent, she was confident, she was bold, she was faithful. She had grit, she would stick things out, she had tenacity, and she taught us what it means to live beyond ourselves. She taught us what it meant to live a life beyond ourselves. And for that reason, we are who we are, because of what she demonstrated, because it's one thing to say, this is what you must do, but it's another to live it. So I think we had no option but to catch what she was living out. And so technically, I personally was a lawyer before I was a lawyer because, you know, we followed her around. But I think she also modeled justice for us as her children, caring for those who are in need, caring for those who are in need. She was love personified. And I think in her words, if she were to describe love, she would call it sacrifice because this is what she did her whole life. She sacrificed her life for others. She adored her colleagues and friends. But if she loved colleagues and friends so much, can you imagine the kind of love that we were exposed to, the kind of warmth, the kind of dedication? In fact, when I was reflecting, I thought, my goodness, you know, Mama would always say to me, you are brilliant, you are excellent, you are amazing, you are all of that. And now, like even as an adult, when I take on any task, those words are so ingrained. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that I am brilliant, you know? Because at home, this is what I heard. So I believe that that is her legacy that she imparted in our lives. She spoke life over us, just like she did to, you know, students who walked into her office. I mean, there were times I was privy to some of the conversations, students coming in. She was a lawyer turned counselor, turned lecturer, turned academic, turned intellectual. She was so many things in one. And I really love the words you used to describe her: grace, personified, modest. And I really believe and pray that we would emulate those values. I think the one thing as well was that she taught us what it means to respect others despite their class and despite where they may come from. And I think today, Mr. Advocate Lejeku spoke about how many barriers she broke. And it's such a privilege for us as her daughters to be able to walk into such an inheritance, you know, an inheritance that literally enables us. We don't have to start from scratch. We are standing on the shoulders of giants. And so it's a generational blessing. In fact, interestingly, we were going through her briefcase because she was very organized like that. And we always knew where her documents were and everything. And in her briefcase, it dawned on me one day that as I went through some of her documents from her career, that there were several things that she did that I wasn't aware of while she was alive, that I got to partake in as an adult, as a professional. An example is that, you know, she used to do volunteer to do talks at schools or organizations to share more about the legal profession, what it entails, and to encourage up and coming graduates on why law was a great career. And these are some of the things that I would personally do. But also, there was something that she participated in with the Cultural Affairs Department of the US State Department. And in 2019, I had a similar opportunity to go to the US on a similar program. But I mean, it's just so amazing how there is such a generational blessing that we are walking in. And today we are conscious of it and we are receiving the honor on her behalf. So I speak on behalf of our sisters and really to say thank you so much to the university. We thank you for initiating this. I know that it was raised at the funeral, that this is something that you would have wanted to do. Sorry it's taken us so long, but we are so grateful and believe it's the right time. And I just want to leave us with a reflection, just in response to this honor that she is receiving, that we're receiving on her behalf, that each of us in this room, what will we do with the opportunities that we have? How will we live our lives? Will we go beyond ourselves? What legacy will we leave behind? I was thinking that for lecturers, for some of the lecturers, sometimes you're the only voice of reason that a student has, because some of us come from very difficult backgrounds. So it is actually, in fact, a destiny-shaping moment to have a conversation with you as a lecturer. So be mindful of what you say. You may be speaking life. That is much needed. So as a family, I'd like to call my two sisters up. In our response, in pushing forward her legacy, today we would like to take the honor of announcing that as a family, we are going to, in fact, we have already kicked off a bursary fund in her honor. This bursary fund is called the Ebenezer Bursary. Ebenezer is really rooted in an Old Testament story in the Bible, but loosely translated, it means, until this far, God has been with us. And so we believe that as we launch this bursary, that this name would resonate for the students who are the recipients of it, that God is with them, and He will continue to be with them as they proceed in their careers. Losing a mother is a destabilizing loss, I won't lie, but today we choose to focus on that which was good about her life. When she was diagnosed with cancer, I remember for the first time in 2011, it was the year I got married. One of the things that we took personally, and I believe for my sisters too, is that she wouldn't let anything go without a fight. She faced that thing fearlessly, boldly, confidently, and she was like, I'm not going down without a fight. And so today we are taking that same strength to say whatever comes, we will never go down without a fight. So we're contributing 30,000 Rand as the inception seed, and we hope that in years to come, we'll come back and convene maybe 10 years from now and recognize those who have gone through the University of Limpopo. This bursary really aims to support the underprivileged but deserving students, and we really hope that it will be a breath of relief for each one of them. So we want to thank you as a family for standing with us during this time, and we'd like to partner going forward, and we look forward to finalizing our MOU with the university around the details of the bursary, but we have already released the first 30,000 Rand for this academic year, and we are so honored to partner with you, and we're looking forward to raising the banner of this university, and we thank God for this opportunity on behalf of the family. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm a bit emotional. I don't usually get emotional, but after that speech, I'm sorry. Yeah.
So I'm so grateful that we were able to locate our first 3 students. The third one isn't here. So we've got 2 students who were able to attend who are recipients. Isn't it an absolute privilege? Please rejoice with us.
I would have loved to hear a lot of that ululation. Well, yeah, well, I know where I come from. I was told that you can only demand that from your mother. I was supposed to bring my mother home to come and ululate because I know she does it so well. But here we are. What a way to respond from the family. Well, I really don't know what Mr. Makhwakwa was thinking because he kept this as a secret. I did not know that the family would come here and surprise us like this. But you know what it tells you is that there is this electrical interconnection that we have in terms of our humanitarian enterprises, what we strive for as human beings. All we did, we didn't bribe. We didn't bribe. We were just doing what we thought was best from the bottom of our hearts. And this is what we get from the family. Awesome. And I'm sure this goes to our students. And this would be the epitomes of this humanitarian well-being that we strive for, all of us. And I'm sure from here, you would go out there and talk good of us. I know, you see, the students that we see here, colleagues, are not very ordinary. They are not average students. Msibi T, average for the previous year is 81%. I'm told. And Nangobela's average is 78%. So, and Sihwana in absentia is 75%. So, this is top and top of the cream. So, on behalf of the School of Law, we wish to, from the bottom of our heart, deliver our sincere thanks to the family on your behalf. Do you want to speak? Okay. So we are going to afford you a chance to respond at least. Say a few words, in whatever way, just to say to the family and of course to everybody present here how grateful you are. I know our students have manners. They like saying thank you. And you definitely are going to say that. Okay. And then that's it from me.
Greetings to you all. It's just so overwhelming and heartwarming to be receiving this bursary. I never really expected it, but I'm so, so grateful to you all, the Thoka family. Thank you.
Greetings. I really don't have much to say, but I'm really inspired by this, and being part of the ceremony is motivating, and I'm grateful to the family. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Each one of them, ladies and gentlemen, would receive a 10,000 worth of bursary. And this is to contribute towards their success, academically speaking, not for other things. Okay, so with that, Madam Speaker, we thank you very much. Here we are.
Thank you.
All right.
Ikolola mero nyuganalo Bambe esandla liyongenanalo eka Oma kunzima
Ayo matata.
Oh, ayo.
Matata. Ayo.
Matata.
Ayo.
Molimo.
Mulimo matata. Ayo matata.
This is wonderful.
Very good. Matata. Ayo mulimo alidi. Ayo matata. Ayo matata. Ayo yo mo alidi. Hey. Uda yo matata. Upunula kwe na nyuka na lunika. Na niye na yoke kaye.
Ayo matata.
Ayo matata.
Ayo
Matata. Yo mudi.
ayo matata. Oh, ayo matata.
Ayo matata. Yo
Dibo alete.
Thank you very much. Thank you very. You know that is why I like being African. And in Africa, everyone is. As long as you are in Africa, you are African, isn't it? Mina noma bengangiphi citizenship eAmerica ngiyithatha. Never. You know, it's only in Africa you come to an event, and you know, we always say protocol observed. In Africa, we don't observe any protocol. Whatever comes from the heart, part of the program, whether you like it by force, by fire, that's how we do it. Thank you very much. We have come to an end. Advocate? Yes, we have come to an end of our program. Thank you very much to the Thoka family. Thank you very much to the School of Law and everyone else for gracing this event. No, this is one of the, I don't know about you, this will be one of the best events in the School of Law, isn't it? No, this is where we honor our own, a legend. I don't know how they give the orders of Mapungu and whatever, but here, this one deserves one, because this is our very own mother. Thank you very much to the Thoka family for sharing Thoka with us, because this is a great honor, you know. This is one of those moments, like I said with my posh English, a surreal moment. I read that word last night, so don't ask me what it means. Yeah, it's one of those dictionary, I have no idea. Just Google it. So we have come to an end. Thank you very much to everyone, the students who received the bursaries. Please don't let us down. No, we were told you are above average. You know, when they say you are above average, it means you find it in the cabinet. You know, that one mark that I have to look for. So keep it up. And like I said, you have come to an end. I'm told there is item number 7. If you are not from TEFLOP, you want to know what is item bariki menu. Item number 7 at the staff canteen. Those of you who do not know the directions to the staff canteen, I'm sure there will be someone waiting outside to direct you. And by the powers vested in me, I hereby declare this event closed. Thank you.
Madam Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, as we walk out, you would see there in the program, you have photo shoot and lunch. We are thinking maybe let's go by the steps of the library. Ramakwakwa, will that work?